back at the table on Anderson Street with a little topic known as dating, okay? We're back at it, talking as millennials. We've got Nicole, Mark, and fan favorite Caress chopping it up about everything from online, traditional, queer, cultural shifts, what have you. We delve into it, multi-part episode, as you know. And just as a little addition, we would like to give a particular thanks to our in-kind partner, Valo, which is a bamboo cutlery company that was based on traveling and finding a way to use sustainable utensils while on the road. So we are privileged to be able to utilize Valo's cutlery at our table, and we hope that you bring them to your own. Please use code Anderson when you go to valo.co online. And without any more ado, we will see you at the table.
So what's dating like for you? Like, oh well. Like, but for real, like in a grander scheme, maybe how it's been and what you would prefer it kind of look like.
Yeah, so I think, so I'm very single, as I told you. So for me, it's always been like a kind of nice to have, not a need to have.
Sure.
So I'm not out here like going on dates every single week or, trying to line up like how can I meet as many people numbers game wise. I'm not like building pipeline, like trying to find my person that way. It's always been through like meeting people and kind of like developing relationships first and then letting it grow from there. But now it's like, I don't know, people still keep pushing me to like dating apps and all that stuff. And I just have so many friends who will look back on their time dating and they're like, it was miserable. Yeah. And I can't.
People go years being single.
Yeah, same.
I'm on 8th year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Us queers love. So we're like 2 weeks in and we're ready to move in with each other.
There is something to be said about that, though.
But that's what happens when you take marginalized people. When you think about people who are super marginalized and have similar experiences, all you have is each other, right? Because the world hates you, right? I walk down the street, we hold hands, people are yelling slurs at us, right? So all you have is one another. So that like brings you closer together.
Absolutely, because you go through it. All of it, all the time. It is the umbrella.
That's a huge part of the relationship, is going through experiences with each other, and if you can do that emotionally, that's a huge attachment. That I can go through that and.
Meanwhile, in a heterosexual relationship, I feel as though, and I think that you feel the same way. If at all I posit that I could be attached relatively quickly, which could be within a 6-month time frame, I am, the total stereotypical woman, and I want too much, and I want to get married tomorrow, and I want this, and I'm just like, why can't I just like you?
Yeah.
And express it. Why can't we be open about our feelings?
What? Why can't I just want to spend multiple days with you in a row, though?
Some males can't elaborate on their emotions.
We're just masculine.
Why is that my fault? Why is that my problem?
That's not your problem, but you have to know your, I'll say, significant other at that point in time to know that you're doing too much in the relationship.
All right,
that's why you need to introduce emotions when you start dating someone and say, hey, are you someone that talks about your emotions? Are you open about these things?
So you just out here asking those questions early.
I need to know, because I don't waste my time.
I love
Look,
that.
you're different.
I
almost came with you right now.
Your
level of judgment is too much.
I understand where you're coming from. It might not say anything. It might not literally come out exactly that way. I might go through something where a girl is attached to me, and I see that, and I acknowledge it. I might not bring it up because it's like, all right.
That's the issue, though. It's because what I've had problems with in the past is men, like, acting one way and then immediately shutting it off and turning it around on me, like I'm too emotional in this or I'm too attached. And it's like, I'm attached because you made me feel like that was where we were headed.
Right. You allowed that to
and
occur.
Now that we're going to talk about it, it's like just total shutdown mode.
Right.
And making me feel nothing is worse for me.
And then you have to go through a therapy session with them and try to pull emotions.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't have time for this. Like, are you in this? Or now, when I was younger, I was not this, like,
no, of course not
vocal. I was not vocal, but it's just like, I hate it when men make me feel like I'm crazy or I'm like, I misread the situation or whatever. It's like, no, you were acting this way, so I just like followed your lead, and like you can't
and you
act
decided
one
to
way.
make a left.
You can't act one way and then be like, oh, too much. I'm gonna like.
This is a lot of learned behavior though of masculinity. As someone who like has participated in masculinity since I was very young, like I don't know what positive masculinity looks like. I don't know what. I mean, I'm starting to understand that masculinity does have a softer side to it, right? But like my learned behaviors of masculinity, I was enacting all the things that all the men in my life showed me was affection and love, and a lot of that was aggression and violence.
Sure.
And not just like violence, physical violence, but emotional violence as well. Like, leading people on, right? So that like I'm not the one who's too deep in my emotions. They're so that I'm more in control of the relationship, right? Or like threatening to leave, right? So that like there's like this begging of like, now I'm in control kind of thing.
Got it.
Or my early 20s was like filled with like this like emotional manipulation. And as I got older, I was just like, wait, someone did that to me, and I was like, okay, this is a little.
What was the moment that you like recognized that?
When I learned about it, right? When I learned that this was toxic, I think that like around the age of like 25, I'm 30 now, so around the age of like 25, I started to read more about like what is toxic masculinity. I started to learn that term. What is toxic masculinity?
Literally, why did you start researching that, or even
because I was called a fuckboy.
Okay, you were called out.
I was called a fuckboy, and I was like, "The fuck is this term?"
Right.
And this is like early. This is like 5 years ago, right? Where like the term wasn't as like
just started to be peppered in.
I was like, "Oh fuckboy, what the fuck are you saying right now?" And so to for someone to break that down to me, and for me to understand that. That violence and abuse isn't just physical but emotional, and to understand like the narcissist behaviors like behind them, and I was just like, wait, I just checked off too many boxes like right here, right? And then also for that to have the tables turning on me and feeling that I'm being like, oh, this is fucked up. Like I was just led on this journey that wasn't actually going to manifest. Someone was playing with my emotions so that I would open up to them so that they were in control. And so I was just like, I need to unpack this, and I'm still unpacking. I'm still unlearning these behaviors, right? It's a journey, right?
It really is.
But like it always sucks to be the one in the relationship who's like more invested emotionally or is giving, more percent, when someone's not meeting you there. And that shit hurts, and it makes you shut down, right? And I know that's what happened to me in my last relationship. Is just like I was just like, I'm in this, but I don't know. I'm in this, but I don't know, just because of the hurt, right? I had my doubts. And
you're still defaulting a little bit to what it was like, and you're like, I'm not in control, but okay, that's a pattern I have to break.
Yeah.
Right? It's like being super conscious, being conscious all the time of you and what you're about and your patterns. Yeah. Especially when like those around you probably aren't holding themselves as accountable as you are holding yourself accountable. It's a hard job.
And then you try to have communication and you try to call each other out, and then sometimes it just doesn't land well.
It just falls.
But I gotta say, that's the privilege of dating like women, especially like black women, right? Because they'll call you out on their shit. And that's emotional labor, right? That's a lot of emotional labor to constantly have to call someone out on their shit. But I appreciate that because it makes me a little bit more self-aware and being like, no, I need to do this labor in myself.
And it makes you think before you act.
Right.
A lot of the times. I mean, it can go a lot of ways, which is crazy enough. But, you could come from a relationship where a female was broken before you got to them, and you have to get through that wall, which I had to do. And then when it finally started to come out and it's 100%, I'm invested in you, and now it's okay. Are we going to slip back down that hole that you went if I happen to do this the wrong way or something like that?
Yeah.
So you have to think you're both
at the same
thinking, you're both
time.
learning, but in the presence, you have to remember some people don't do things intentionally. Something's happened and it's wrong. It's wrong. I've apologized probably a million times in my relationship. That's fine, but I don't do anything to literally hurt my significant other in any way, shape, or form. That's not what I have to deal with you at the end of the day.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm the type of person, if I don't like drama. If there's less drama, it could be that way, but it makes the relationship that much more memorable, that much more loving. You can invest in so many other things than always having to argue. You know what I mean?
It's also recognizing folks are human and they make mistakes, right?
I hate that.
I
hate but yes, I understand.
But do you like this person enough
to also accept?
What is that new Japanese song? Where he's like, I love you and I'll take your bullshit, right? Like everybody has their bullshit, right? It's just a matter of like are you going to accept this person and their bullshit too?
Yeah.
And do you see potential of them working through their own bullshit without you having to handle them?
And is their bullshit legitimately bullshit?
Right.
Yeah. The question, because it might seem like that for us and not for them.
Right.
So, when I was younger, I was pretty judgmental isn't the right word. Well, maybe it is the right word, but I was kind of you do something.
You're rigid.
I was so rigid. I was like, no. And I was like, never speaking to you again. Have a great life.
I was like,
you're like a blocker.
I was like, you do one thing wrong, and I'm out, and I wasn't empathetic. I wasn't trying
to hear an apology.
No. And I was just very black and white. I was like, this is how. And then as I've gotten older, I'm like, oh, the world isn't black and white. And I was probably just self-destructing a lot of the things that I was in because I wasn't even giving it a chance. It was more kind of self-preservation.
Broke a lot of people, man.
Huh?
Yeah.
So you broke a lot of people.
Yeah.
You're
and I'm sure you had your own bullshit. And you're so what if I have bullshit? I'm not taking
100%.
That would have been me too, though.
100%. I was you're not doing it my way. We're not having it. But so it's hard to figure out what's real bullshit that you should run from versus what's just life and trying to figure out is this person worth it.
But that comes from you understanding yourself and what your boundaries are.
Yeah. Yeah.
We gotta check in with ourselves and be like, what do we want out of a partner? What are we willing to
And you have to, I think, go through a few practice rounds.
Yeah.
And so I've been single for real for 8 years, right? Since we were together at college.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a minute ago.
And you old.
Okay. Okay, you're older than me, aren't you?
We're not talking about
Whatever. Anyway, and it's I've talked to, I don't know 3 people significantly that stand out, but talked to. It would never get, right. It never got defined. Talk was.
You might as well just say something.
I just want to know. Yeah, I don't want to use. Okay. Catholic guilt. That was happening. Don't tell 100%. Seeing each other regularly on a quickly casual level.
Talking, texting, following each other on social media, most likely seeing each other.
Not all the time following on social media because I am very much I tread lightly. I feel like I'm on ice that will just crack and then I'll fall through the lake. So I never try to do too much. And too much to one person may be absolutely nothing, right, to another person.
Yeah.
So I would say I'd probably veer on the side of literally nothing. Yeah. It's probably not a problem whatsoever.
Is that person introduced to your friends though? As
at some point,
no.
When you talk,
all 3 of these people didn't meet any friends.
Okay, talking can also be they haven't met them, but I sent a picture in the group text to show them who
they know of them.
Too.
They know of them, but then one of these people, I was the side piece that I didn't know about. Oh,
that's why it's important for other people to know, and that's important for you to follow them on social media. Yeah, and so you can follow them on social media, see how they out here interacting with people.
Not on the real girl who is now they are now married and have a child. Okay. They are together. They had an interstate relationship, so it was fine. He lived alone, no question. He was whining and dining me, cooking for me. I was like, this is one of the best people I've attracted ever, right?
Yeah. You're the daytime chick.
Yeah. I was like, how come we only meet in the night?
Oh, nighttime chick.
I was the nighttime chick. I was still the nighttime chick.
FaceTime and Bay.
No, I'm done with myself. And had WhatsApp chats coming up on the phone. I was like, that's interesting. Maybe you travel like me, so that's why you have WhatsApp. Always trying to give a little bit. Yeah, the super benefit of the doubt. Another guy, first ever time I did this, moved to Kansas City. Kansas City is in the Bible Belt.
You moved to Kansas.
I moved there. Wow. Whoa. You're in the Army. Okay, didn't forget about you either. Don't care. Okay, tossing it all out. But got there and another year I didn't really. I think you misunderstood what I was saying for the past year and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, I misunderstood. Okay. So I'm here. I live here now. Here I am in the middle of the country. Confused.
But you're the one that's crazy, right? Like,
I'm crazy.
Yep.
Mary Pat was there during that whole courtship via FaceTime, text every day, the whole time. She was there. We were in Istanbul. She's like, oh my God, he's serious.
Yeah.
This is going to be intense. You going to bring him home? I get there and he's like, nah, I think I'm going to go in the special forces. I can't have any sort of relationship ever with anybody ever in life. You're married now too. That's funny. So it's all interesting.
Yeah.
These are 2 of 3. The other one, I don't even know. He hit me up a few years later and was like, hey, you still got that body? Oh. Nope, I put on a few. So the attraction has been dicey.
Can we segue into like desirable bodies when it comes to dating?
Sure.
And so you talked about like this person hitting you back up and still asking like if you had that body.
That was
as if
the
like
most
your body was the only
outlandish thing I've
valuable
heard. Yeah,
thing
that
to
was
you,
crazy
right?
to me.
And so like I feel like in this day and age, because we do have social media is such like a prominent part of our lives, I feel like people do get caught up in like how people look, right? How
It's perfect.
right?
It's not.
Yeah.
Like we're not getting to necessarily know people right away through like meeting them, how you doing, what do you do, all of that. It's just like, okay, what have they been up to in the past
Right, this is what you're about.
on social media? Who are they?
What you look
with?
like.
What do they wear?
Yeah.
Like in this look, right? And like, what are these looks like based on, right? Or the aesthetics based on, right? I've been fooled, right?
Haven't we all?
I've been fooled by like pictures that someone like posted. Like this person posted that like they were into like meditation and they were so at peace and they were traveling
fraud.
and this and that. It was all fraud. It was all fraud. This person was not at peace with anything.
Shoot. They were loud. They were hectic.
It was a lot. It was a lot. But I like bought into this idea of them because of what I saw online. But like also I think at that time in my life I also bought into like these European standards of beauty. Right? So like
tall and skinny.
So like thin, not big lips, thin nose, these ideas of like what beauty, what was considered beautiful, even texture like of hair and things like that. And I like after that relationship, I really had to step back and be like, yo, who was I? What was I chasing with that? Like, what was I looking for in that? And just really understand also like how I love on black women and what kind of black women am I out here?
I love on them.
Like, who am I really seeking, right? If I'm like, if like the women that I'm with like don't look like the women that I talk about loving or fighting for, or the woman that I came out of, right?
Yep. That being consciously accountable is real.
No,
hard.
for real. But then it like people started to call me out on that shit and be like, yo, you out here saying that you love black women, but like the black women that you love look more Egyptian rather than Nubian. And like,
I mean,
me being real with myself like about that though, me being real and I'm trying to unpack like, but that is how it is. Like you do have like these standards of beauty where you do have like masculine black folks who do go for the lighter skinned and longer haired. And they're not going for like the girl with the wig and the weave, the darker skinned one, right, who wears like the colorful makeup and has like the certain aesthetic, right?
I've always been that light skin, everybody hates me. So I get it.
The light skin, everybody hates you.
Yeah, I'm on
the more desirable, you're not really black.
Thank you. You're not a black woman, but yes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, like darker black
people
woman.
telling you you're not a black woman.
Yeah, and being like, you're the reason. You're light skin. You got the good hair. You got the good. And I'm like, I don't even know what any of those words.
But can you acknowledge the privilege in that?
Yes.
As long as you can acknowledge the privilege in that.
I understand it, but growing up, it was hard.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it hard because you're like fighting? I mean, again, I don't
toss it out. Safe spot.
Like you are fighting against yourself because you're like trying to. When you're younger, it's like your self confidence. It just isn't there because it's like my body should look this way or should look this way. You're fighting against the people that you're trying to attract, so like male, female, whatever. So it's like I need to look a certain way because of this and that, and then you have, women saying like you're
So I'm not part of the tribe because of this. But I'm also not black enough. I'm not white enough. I'm not this enough. I'm not that enough.
So you're trying to do and make yourself something that all of these people are telling you like different things and yourself, and it's just like, it's so hard to grow up and try to be comfortable with who you are and attract the people that like will just want you for you, you know, and you don't realize that growing up, so it makes it so much harder.
I can't imagine growing up right now with Instagram and like Kylie or the daughter of Kim from Real Housewives of someplace. But anyway, her daughter's like 13 and has fraudulent everything. And like, does everybody have the same doctor? Because everyone's kind of starting to look the same. The things are all the same. And oh my God, until the
trend changes, and then they're like, oh shit, like now I got all this plastic surgery and I'm stuck because this was the trend before.
Right.
Thin eyebrows, big eyebrows, big hair, small like
hips, booty.
I feel like this is the perfect time to grow up. I know for me growing up, I didn't see anybody who looked like me on TV, like being like someone who's more masculine presenting and black. Like I didn't see black queer characters. It was only like white queer characters I saw. But with social media, I feel like these kids can like find people and see people who look like them, who actually are in relationships and hold relationships and can find love. Growing up, I didn't think that I was ever going to find love because I didn't know anybody who looked like me who was in a loving relationship that wasn't hypersexualized on TV or someone didn't have like crazy mental health problems or they weren't like experiencing some kind of extreme poverty or things like that. But like, I feel like these kids now can see people like, what's her name? Lena Waithe. That's her name? Yeah. So like seeing like queer characters like be their true authentic selves and seeing them be in actual relationships and people loving on them and appreciating them. I think that this, like, especially for young queer kids, this is like the perfect time to grow up. Yes, there are standards, right? There are
also the inundation of like you'd have to sift through to find the sort of role model you'd like to emulate if you're seeking. Like you can find anybody now, hopefully, somewhere that you can look to as a representative of what you'd like to be like. But in the meantime, if we're on the explore page, there's like in the wings all the atrocious aspects of the same thing. So you as a kid need to now also have the wherewithal to sift. So like who's there with you as like some sort of a mentor? So yes, I think it's excellent, but also I think it comes with really high stakes now.
Well, it's like things can be used for evil or for good. So like what you're saying is
spectrum to everything.
Really good, because you're right. It's like, you know, just opens the world up to people. But what you're saying is it's used for evil. Kind of.
Well, I remember being a kid and being in like chat rooms. Y'all remember chat rooms? Being in chat rooms and having to make up like some crazy name, right? So that my like foster parents, because they were like super Christian, right? And like me dressing masculine to them was synonymous with me being gay. And so I would like they would always like question me or try to like look up and see what sites that I was like on and things like that, right? But I'm just like, yo, I'm just trying to be a kid, and like children do have sexuality, right? We grow up, especially like middle school, high school, like we're curious like about things, and growing up, like sex ed wasn't real for me. Like when I had sex ed, like it didn't teach anything. It's not real.
Abstinence,
right?
abstinence works.
But like learning about like all this hetero sex and me being like, I'm not gonna have any of this type of sex. So I don't really. This doesn't apply. Like you just disengage and having to go online and like look up like what these things for, or like finding out through like talking to older people in these chat rooms that I get trapped in. Remember ASL? Age sex location.
ASL.
Yo, I used to have my little screen name.
Yep. LOL. I have my desktop computer in my bedroom.
Right.
Run home to play The Sims and then beyond. And then we had a chat room.
It was a lot.
Truly had
it was a lot. You had to go through a lot though, to like find someone to like talk to, and then like being a queer person, especially because I grew up in like a small town, there weren't any other queer people. So like you're over here talking about like Kansas City, I was like, that's nothing for queer people. We'll date someone all the way across the country because like for some of us it's like just few. Like if you don't live in a big city, like there might not be a lot of queer people like in your city. So you might have a lot of long distance relationships, right? It's not as big of a pool as like people think it is. I think like now like a lot more people are coming out, right? So I think that the pool is definitely larger, but it like the more marginalized you are, like the smaller and smaller pool is. Like if I were a lesbian and identified as a lesbian, my pool would be like huge, right?
Because you have so many options.
So many options, but with me being like a gender non-conforming person identifying within the trans and gender non-conforming community, that doesn't always register with other people who are identified as gay and lesbian. Like, if you are a woman and you want to have sex with, like, other women, I'm marginalized. I'm not going to be in that circle with you, right? Like, I know that me coming out as a gender non-conforming person and identifying within the trans community, I got isolated out of the lesbian community, right? They don't want none of that. They don't understand my pronouns, right? They're not trying to call me.
And they don't want to try either.
They don't want to try. Yeah, that's the.
They don't want to try either. Question mark.
I mean, I think that
By and large, I mean, not every single.
I think that like some people so like dating for me is very hard because I come across this person who claims they understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like now on OKC, which is OkCupid, right? They have options, different gender options. Even on Tinder, they have like different gender options now, right? And so I can have my gender option in there and someone express that they want to date me or talk to me, and then I start talking to them, and then I understand that they really don't understand gender. They're just like, oh, but you're still like a lesbian because you were like born or assigned.
And you don't want to have the teaching in the dating world.
I don't always want to educate my partner. I want someone to be able to like meet me and already understand these things. That's why last time we were having that conversation about dating, like interracial dating, it's just like I don't want to have to explain to you what it's like to be a black person like in a relationship.
As well as a non-conforming.
As well as a gender non-conforming person.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's interesting. So
That's so many levels of complexity in dating.
Do you think there's a correlation between like being more willing to be emotionally vulnerable early when the pool is small and the options are less? Please tell me you followed that because I was thinking about that question.
Yeah, I think that it can be difficult. I think that it can go like one of two ways. Like either you are like you have like all of your walls up because you're like cautious. You're like, when is this person gonna fuck up my pronouns? When is this person gonna allow someone to misgender me? Right? Like, is this person ashamed me, gonna take me home? Because it's a lot easier to like take like someone home is because like a lot of parents now understand like, oh, this is like someone of the same sex and you're dating someone of the same sex. But to like throw out the idea of gender non-conforming or trans to parents, sometimes they're just like, I don't understand. So people just avoid taking you home altogether. So we can either go that way, or like you are so desperate because the pool is so small, you just cling and attach to this person and you like take in all the violence, all the like gender violence and harm
Because you feel that's all.
because you feel like this is all that you'll have.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So like if you were dating someone new, you're not dating anybody at all?
No.
Question mark.
No.
Okay. So if you were dating someone new, we're a month in. You've been out 4 times. You've paid. You've been on dates. Okay. Now, we are getting into hibernation season, which is now.
Cuffing season.
Right, we're here. You need a
talked about this
hibernation bay, okay?
Hibernation bay.
So she's out here and she's like, oh, I'm interested. Oh, I really like him. I want to da-da-da-da-da. Okay? She calls you on the phone. Huge move.
Which I'm a person that has
Huge move.
phone conversations.
That's why I noted, because I know who you are. I know you.
Right.
And she's out here like this. Give me the phone. Be on the phone with me. Mark, listen, we've been on a few dates. I really like you, and I just want to suggest that we are exclusive. What do you think about that?
Wait, have compassion. Let him think through his thoughts before he speaks. Go ahead.
Facts.
Go ahead.
Well,
Get your thoughts together.
see,
You're
but
still on the phone.
this is different
Get
because
your
we're
thoughts
simulating
together.
something very
Get your
different.
thoughts together.
It's different. I can't
She
even
has
go through
compassion
this.
in the moment
I
though,
can't
and she's giving you time.
Because I could just say yeah, and then going through the evaluation, it could be just fun. Because I'm the type of person, I'm assessing relationship. Listen, if we're talking, I just want to talk, right?
Did we talk about us just talking?
But
No,
say
because
that.
this is that conversation now.
Okay, right. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, what was said from the get-go? Yeah, please do. Because I feel like that's important for a guy like me. I'm setting the tone before anything goes. So there isn't anything that's going to be misconstrued down the line.
So on date
she's
one,
asking you then.
on date one, you said,
Well,
listen,
if everything goes well, yeah, we can be exclusive. I'm fine with that.
So then say that.
Right, but that's what I'm trying to get. You understand? I was trying to get the background of what the situation was.
we didn't have background. We were just
If
talking.
we didn't have background, that's not somebody I want to be in a relationship if there's no background. That's my point.
This is the
You
Virgo
can't just
coming
say
at
yes
him.
or no.
He has a plan. He sets it forth from the get-go.
That's real.
My point was simply that.
You freak out.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't freak out. I'm just saying the emotional vulnerability at the beginning is often a deterrent for men in heterosexual relationships.
In gay relationships too, I know a lot of gay men who also like that's just like the way like masculinity. I mean, we're in spaces as a child where you're allowed to cry and be vulnerable. Like, you were told to man up, right? You were told that like men don't do that, or like that like you have to be in control of a relationship. You're the man in the relationship. You wear the pants, like that kind of thing. So, I mean, where has he had the space to even like unlearn these behaviors?
Hopefully, if and when someone approaches you with a new question.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's different for me. Growing up, of course, I'm a male. So whatever I go through, main things were sports, doing certain things. I was brought up around guys, period. So I never really had to be told, be a man. You can't do that. You can't do... I never went through...
You just saw what it was.
What it was, and that's how it is. It's very straightforward because a lot of it was being brought up at the table. It's like I'm sitting and I'm laughing because it's new to me. So, as last episode, everything was new to me. A lot was new to me. But I'm learning. I'm not narrow-minded. I hear about a lot of things, but I'm not out there watching TV as everybody else. I still engage in the regular world. So this other facade of everything that's going out, building a profile on social media and portraying myself as this, when I'm not, I don't do any of that. Like, I'm probably one of the realer people that you're going to find out here.
That's why you're annoying me in this chat, because you're not representing all the males.
And I will be, and that's the side. I could understand both sides, but I generally will always be me in answering any question that you want. So that's why I couldn't give you just a straight out answer. I had to know the background of what we were going towards to give you an honest answer of what I would naturally do in a situation. Because I'm misleading the table, and then I'll be misleading the viewers at the end of the day. Oh, well, he thinks like, nah, I don't think like that. I want you to know me from the get-go. That's the most important, because if you know me from the get-go, you know what you're going to be dealing with in a relationship down the line. Okay, well, Mark thinks like this. Well, you could say Mark thinks like this because this is how everything is laid out on the table. And I feel like that's very important. I'm not gonna waste your time. And seriously, I don't see time as being wasted. I see time as a lesson. Anything that isn't or going the way it's supposed to, is for you to learn from, right? So,
but wait, this is you now, but think about you in your earlier 20s. Were you out here really thinking like this?
I was in a relationship, but yeah, I was always taught like this. I grew up around a lot of older males. I didn't hang out with my age group. So if I was 17, I'm hanging out with people that was 20. I was in the strip clubs at 15, 16. So I went through that phase of my life very early.
Okay, so very early on. Your mindset very early on like how you showed up. It wasn't like this, right?
Not as strong. Going through high school, I was very passive. I let a lot of things be. I wasn't fighting because people around me always told me if I got into a fight in school, my people kept me on a straight and narrow. They kept me out of negativity. They wouldn't bring me around certain situations. So like I love and I respect the people that I was around for that. I was able to ask questions if I had outlets. So I was very much so gifted than other people. So going into a relationship, like I said, I'm letting people know what it is from the get-go, even if it was just a sexual interaction.
You're the only one that I know.
It sounds crazy, but hey, and I might get into a confrontation later down the line because it's like, oh, well, you led me to believe. I've had that, and it's like, no, this is what it is, and you go down. Okay, it gets retraced, but ultimately, listen, there's not going to be a lot of guys like me, and
Cool.
Yeah, cool. We get it.
Getting older is actually great because now I just really don't give a fuck about what I'm doing.
He wasn't ready for the talk.
No, and the way how surprised he was, I was like, what were we just doing for the past couple months? Like, how are we this far? How are we this disconnected? Then
and I can't rely on maybes anymore. I just am in this moment, and I know that this is how I feel, and I want to like somebody. Why is it such a negative thing for me to want to see you several times?
Yeah.
I'm annoyed.
So it's for female, biological clock ticking. For male, it's financial, is what I've heard. I'm not sleeping with anybody I can't see myself with.
Oh. One time I did have a surprise that my girlfriend was pregnant, which obviously meant that she was cheating on me. Right? So this idea of the American dream and building our family is so very, very new to our community.